you all, and thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I know in my last video I said that I would go over a few rounds of chemo, my first few rounds, and then I thought about it. So much happened within the first round of chemo that I'm going to go over that first round by itself, and then I'll group the next few together, and then I'll do my first round of Taxol and then group the other ones together and try to get you guys caught up to where I am now. I did finish my 28th round of radiation today. I only have 2 more rounds left and then I'm going home. So that's super exciting. But I wanted to come to you guys today and really walk you through what happened in my first round of chemo. So I told you all last time that I had the port placed, and the port is where they do your IV. They also draw your blood. Any lab work is done through the port. When I had the port put in, it was after it was put in, I was a little sore, but it wasn't unbearable at all. Just very sore because, of course, they cut your, they do a little cut, put the device in, and then sew you up and glue you up after that's done. So that was, the healing process was kind of uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad. Now, after I had the port put in, the doctor called me back in and said that they saw another lump in my breast and wanted to do a biopsy. So they did the biopsy on the lump in my breast, and it did turn out to be breast cancer as well, which wasn't a big deal. That's when they decided to do the mastectomy instead of a lumpectomy, which I was fine with. At this point in my mind, I'm just like, I don't care what you guys say. I'm just ready to beat cancer. So we did that. And then as it got closer to the time for me to start my chemotherapy, they wanted to do a biopsy of my lymph nodes. And they did the biopsy, and that came back clear, no issues. The cancer had not spread to my lymph nodes. So that was amazing to hear. So it was just centralized to my breast, which was wonderful. Okay, so the day of chemotherapy, my dad was the one to take me to all of my chemo treatments, and that was because my dad is retired, and at this point, the pandemic is going on. My husband is still working, and he's, everybody's trying to hold it together the best way that they can. But my dad was like, I'll take her back and forth to all of her doctor's appointments, which was wonderful because, oh my God, me and my dad would have the best time. So much fun. Anywho, so when I showed up to the hospital my first time, my 3 friends that are like my sisters, they pulled in, honking their horn, cheered me on for my first round of chemo. It was so amazing, so beautiful. They brought me this beautiful gift basket with all types of snacks and treats and inspirational books and a blanket, everything. It was so awesome. So that was so sweet. So then I go into the cancer center and check in, pay my copay, and then after that I went to have my lab work done. So again, they draw your blood through your port. My first port access experience was not great. Okay, now keep in mind this area was still very sore from them actually installing the port, but the person that access, and when I say access, that means when they put the needle in and either draw your blood or do your IV. So the person who was accessing my port was very heavy-handed, and when she was getting ready to do it, she would rub across, and she's like, I'm just trying to make sure I'm putting it in the right spot. And this whole area was inflamed, so I was sweating, my palms were sweating, I was trying to hold on to the seat. It was just like, ooh, but I got through it. Now, one thing I tell anyone who has to have a port and has someone who access it, try to find the best nurse, the best phlebotomist, the best person that actually knows how to do that, because it makes a world of difference. I had quite a few bad experiences, and then when I found someone who really knew what they were doing, I would always request her. I had no shame. At first, I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it was either hurt their feelings or have my chest feeling like someone was stabbing me in it. So I chose me, and I would ask for this specific woman every single time. So she did my lab work. They did my lab work, drew my blood, and then I went and waited to see the doctor. And when I saw the doctor, he would take measurements of the tumor, the largest tumor, and see kind of, feel and see what was going on with that. We talk about my lab work, how everything was going, and we go from there. After seeing the doctor, I would go back to the waiting area, and then I would go to the infusion area, and that was where they actually did the chemotherapy infusion. Before they start the actual chemotherapy, they give you your pre-meds, and that was Benadryl and steroids. That they give you that so that you don't have a bad allergic reaction to the chemotherapy. Now, once we got to the chemo, the first one that I did, Adriamycin, the nickname of that chemo is Red Devil. It is bright red, okay? And not to be vulgar or anything like that, but it is so potent that after you're done with chemo and you use the restroom, your urine is red, which was kind of scary to me. So needless to say, I was drinking loads of water because I needed to flush all of that out of me, okay? So I got the Adriamycin and then the Cytoxan. After those injections were over and done, I had the Neulasta injection put onto my stomach. Now, you can either have it put on your stomach or they can put it on your arm. The nurse told me that it would be best to put it on my stomach so that I wouldn't bump my arm or lay on my arm and knock it off or have any type of issue with it. So I listened to her and I had it put on my stomach. That thing there, when they put it on, no pain. It's like a rubber band pop, and that's where it's sticking the needle in you so that it can put the injection in you in 27 hours. So I had that done, went home. 27 hours later, I'm doing laundry and the injection starts going off. It starts beeping and then it'll start clicking as a countdown to let you know that it's about to start injecting the medicine. And Neulasta is to keep your white blood cell count at a decent level. Of course, when you're going through chemo, it'll really wreck all of your blood count, but the Neulasta is to keep it from bottoming out. And as soon as that medicine got in my body, my bones started aching. And they started aching so bad that I was having the worst back spasms. I couldn't even walk. I had to call my dad and have him find me a walker. And I had to walk around on a walker for the first day or so. Because I still wanted to, I was not about to lay in bed. That was not me. I wanted to still do laundry and do my cleaning, whatever I needed to do, because I still needed to live. I was not about to go through any of this cancer treatment in the bed. Like, no, thank you. I still need to live. I still need to do what I need to do. So I did that. Did laundry and all of that on the walker. And then in a day or so, I felt fine. Now, what I did find out after that first terrible experience with the Neulasta is that I needed to take Claritin, and that would help with some of the side effects of the Neulasta, help with the bone pain. So I would take Claritin the day before, the day of, and the day after my injection. And after speaking with my cousin, she told me that she also took Benadryl. So I thought, what the heck? Let me try that as well. And that ended up being, it worked perfectly. I still had a little bit of bone pain, but it was so minor that it wasn't even a big deal at all. So made it through that. And now when my port was put in, I did tell my doctor that I was having a few issues with my arm feeling like it was falling asleep. Like several times a day, it would feel like my arm was falling asleep. And he sent me in to have an MRI because he said maybe it was a pinched nerve or something, and he wanted to see what was going on. I had the MRI done, and they called me back with the results and said that they saw something on my spine. And that freaked me out a little bit because I'm thinking, okay, I have already said, okay, the breast is already against me, okay? But what we're not about to do is have my spine broke all down. Like, no. So we did the MRI. He got those results back. And then he said he wanted to do a PET scan because he's like, I want to see what this is on your spine. I want to make sure that the cancer is not spread. And I'm thinking, okay. Super nervous going to get that PET scan done, but went in, got it done. It came back fine. It was like I had a slip disc or something like that. It was whatever it wasn't cancer in my spine. So we moved right along with it. Before I even started chemo, my doctors kept urging me, and also the nurses were like, you need to go ahead and shave your hair because it's going to be a really emotional experience with you losing the hair, and your hair is likely to fall out after your first treatment. And I'm thinking, I got a lot of hair, and I'm not about to mow all of this hair off of my head, so I'll let it fall out. After my first round of treatment, some of it did come out. It wasn't noticeable at all. It was like just a lot of shedding, but it wasn't a lot. So what did I do? I thought that was all that was about to happen. Why did I wash my hair and clip my ends? Silly rabbit. I did that, and very shortly after my second week of chemo, all of my hair fell out. And I'll go over that in my next video. But thank you all so much for watching this video. I love you all. And I want you all to think yourself positive. I want you to speak yourself positive so that you can live a positive life, because I believe that positivity makes the difference. I love you all.